could be a 3-division world champion. Look, Tom Aspinall is a large,
that's a
giant man that is never going to make middleweight, never going to make light heavyweight. That is a true heavyweight.
Tom Aspinall couldn't make 225 because he's ripped at 255.
Yeah. But realistically, he's done it all. He knocked out Magomed Ankalaev in 69, 59 seconds, whatever it was. He smoked him. It was very, very fast, okay? And the man is gigantic, and he's not getting any younger. And, of course, we have the whole situation with Tom Aspinall. Now, you might have seen this post that was doing the rounds recently, okay? A couple of days ago, I saw something. It was very alarming. People all over Twitter, Josh Thompson was one of them. So I thought there was some credibility to this. They said that
You think Alex Pereira moving to heavyweight is just another weight class jump? You're dead wrong. This is a calculated assassination attempt on Tom Aspinall's entire reign, and the psychological warfare has already begun.
Shouldn't be getting any shit or any blame here, but he is, which is just weird, right?
The reports are out that the UFC asked Tom Aspinall to vacate the title until he was ready to go. He said he'd be willing to vacate the title as long as they released him. Now, that opens the door so he can go ahead and box.
But he just had surgery, okay? And he isn't going to be fighting anytime soon. And when they said they went to Tom and asked him to vacate...
Let me break down what's really happening here because everyone's missing the bigger picture. Pereira isn't just confirming a move to heavyweight. He's declaring open season on the most dangerous division in the sport, and he's doing it while Aspinall is stuck on the sidelines recovering from injury. Think about the timing here. While Tom's rehabbing, getting his body back to fighting shape, Pereira is in his head rent-free, talking about taking his belt, planning his invasion. That's not coincidence, that's pure psychological terrorism. And here's what nobody's talking about: Pereira has never had to cut weight this brutally in his entire career. Those 205-pound cuts were destroying his body, draining every ounce of power from his legendary left hook. Now imagine that same knockout power, but amplified. No weight cut, no dehydration, no weakened chin from months of brutal dieting. We're about to see the most dangerous version of Alex Pereira that has ever existed.
They said, do you want to step away from the belt, okay, whilst the division moves on, and when you're ready to come back, you fight for the belt straight away. And the rumor was that he said, I'll do that as long as you release me from my contract so I can go and box, right? And everyone was saying, oh, this is really happening. Turns out it's not. It's bullshit, okay?
This is #1 bullshit.
Tom's waiting to make his comeback. He's still very much the heavyweight champion of the world. The third champion to come from England. Shout out Big Tom. And I'm looking forward to the comeback. Now, because of that, that's when Alex Pereira comes into the fold and he says...
But here's where it gets absolutely wild. This isn't just about Pereira getting stronger. It's about what this does to Tom Aspinall's mental state. The man has already gone on record questioning whether he even wants to be in this business anymore. He's talked about hating aspects of the fight game. And now, while he's trying to recover and find his motivation again, the most feared striker in the sport is publicly hunting him. Every interview Pereira does, every training video he posts, every time he mentions Aspinall's name, it's another layer of pressure. Because Tom knows what's coming. He knows that when he comes back, he won't just be defending against regular heavyweights anymore. He'll be facing a mythical creature, a two-division champion who's never been more dangerous.
Jones versus Alex Pereira, or as I always said, Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane for an interim title. Now, I don't know what's going on with the whole stuff with Tom. Apparently he came out and he said, I'm still very much the champion. That's great to hear. Do not walk away from this sport, Tom. Do not let the fans get to you, right? They're a fickle crowd. I was hated beyond belief, and that...
Now listen to this part because it changes everything. Pereira has already conquered two divisions with surgical precision. Middleweight, dominated. Light heavyweight, cleared out. But those victories came with a cost. Those weight cuts were slowly killing him. Every fight he had to drain himself down to 205 pounds, weakening his body, compromising his natural power. That's not happening at heavyweight. At heavyweight, Pereira steps in at his natural walking weight, fully hydrated, maximum power, zero compromises. And that terrifies everyone in the division, especially Aspinall. Because Tom has built his entire game around being the faster, more technical heavyweight. But what happens when that speed advantage disappears? What happens when he's facing someone who hits just as hard but doesn't have the physical limitations of a brutal weight cut?
But the fans of mixed martial arts, just like any sport, they're very fickle, okay? Right? Love you all, by the way. Now, here is what Tom posted recently, and I just want to talk about this quickly. He said, I love mixed martial arts. I'll never stop loving it, but I just hate the business. I think that fighters are completely replaceable.
You heard Aspinall.
Here's the kicker, though. The UFC is absolutely salivating over this matchup, and they're going to fast-track it regardless of rankings or traditional title shot logic. Why? Because it's pure box office gold. A two-division champion attempting to become the first three-division champion in heavyweight history, against a technical phenom who's already questioning his place in the sport. Dana White is probably already counting the pay-per-view buys. But that commercial pressure adds another layer of psychological warfare. Aspinall knows he can't just quietly come back and ease into his return. The biggest fight of his career is already being planned, already being promoted, already being sold to fans worldwide. There's no escape, no time to rebuild confidence slowly. It's straight into the deep end against a shark.
And certainly, when he wasn't the person at fault, he wasn't. But this is the world that we live in. It just is. The show must go on. I went through multiple eye surgeries. I wasn't in constant communication with the UFC. They weren't calling on me and checking on me. The only time I got a phone call off Dana White was when he called me, and I'm not talking shit, by the way. They got a business to run. They got a worldwide massive corporation to run, putting on the best fights on the planet, okay? And if someone gets hurt...
And get this, Pereira's fight IQ is being completely underestimated in all this heavyweight talk. Everyone focuses on his knockout power, but they're missing his tactical brilliance. This man has systematically dismantled every style of fighter put in front of him. Wrestlers, strikers, grapplers, pressure fighters, none of it matters. He finds a way to land that left hook and the fight's over. Now imagine that same tactical mind, but in a body that doesn't have to sacrifice strength for weight requirements. He's going to be studying Aspinall's tape, identifying weaknesses, planning the perfect storm. And Tom knows it. Every day he spends recovering, Pereira is getting more dangerous, more prepared, more focused on taking his throne.
I talk about that all the time. The sport of boxing still moves on. If you get hurt at work and you can't do your job on a Monday morning, the business still continues. The factory still goes on. The milk still gets delivered. The cow still gets slaughtered, right? Whatever it is, Amazon drivers are still making the deliveries. Just because John, your usual driver, twists his ankle and can't go to work, the show still goes on.
But wait, it gets worse for Aspinall. The heavyweight division moves differently than the lighter weight classes. One mistake at heavyweight and your entire reign can end in seconds. The margin for error is microscopic, and Pereira specializes in capitalizing on single moments, single openings, single mistakes. He's built his entire career on finding that one perfect shot that changes everything. At heavyweight, with no weight cut weakening his power, that one shot becomes even more devastating. Aspinall has never faced anything like this. He's never fought someone with Pereira's combination of technical skill, knockout power, and championship experience. This isn't just a title defense, it's a complete unknown.
If he isn't fighting anytime soon, and it certainly doesn't look like he's fighting anytime soon, then this 1, 2, 3 and go from Alex Pereira, to me, is clear as day. He's fighting for a third belt sometime soon. Or maybe he's not. Maybe he's talking out of his ass. Remember he said that he got hacked recently. There was someone else recently as well saying they get hacked. It kind of drives me crazy. Anytime someone puts something on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and then they get a little bit of backlash.
Hold up, did you catch what's really happening behind the scenes? While everyone's debating whether Pereira can handle the size difference at heavyweight, they're missing the real story. This move isn't about physical advantages or disadvantages. It's about legacy. Pereira is already a 2-division champion, which puts him in elite company. But becoming a 3-division champion? That's immortality territory. That's something that's never been done at heavyweight. He's not just chasing another belt, he's chasing history. And that kind of motivation, that kind of legacy pressure, creates a different level of dangerous. When a fighter is competing for their place in history, they find power they didn't know they had. They take risks other fighters won't take. They push through damage that would stop normal competitors.
Did something, you felt a certain way, you said your little tweets, and then you got a ton of shit and a ton of backlash, and then you just went, oh, I was hacked, right? And Alex Pereira has said the same thing in the past, and maybe he'll say the same thing about this. But going back to what I say, Alex Pereira deserves a third shot at the belt. If Tom is on the sidelines right now, and John Jones is actually retired because of all the arthritis in his hips, right? If he is walking away, right, then he is, Alex Pereira, the next guy, the most logical guy. He's done it all at light heavyweight. There isn't really anyone there for him anyway. Yeah, of course, Khalil Roundtree wants another pop. Of course, Yuri Prochazka cried.
Now here's what nobody else is saying about this whole situation. The timing of this announcement isn't random. Pereira knows exactly what he's doing by going public with his heavyweight intentions while Aspinall is injured. It's the perfect psychological setup. Tom has months to think about this fight, months to visualize what could go wrong, months to let the pressure build. Meanwhile, Pereira gets to train without the stress of an immediate fight, gets to add muscle mass properly, gets to prepare his body for the heavyweight division methodically. By the time they actually fight, Pereira will have had the perfect preparation while Aspinall will have had the perfect mental torture. That's not accident, that's championship-level strategic thinking.
Pereira's done it all, and the man is gigantic for 205. He would probably walk around 240 pounds. He could put a bit of muscle on, walk around at 250, and go knock the out of almost everyone at light heavyweight.
So there you have it. Alex Pereira isn't just moving to heavyweight, he's orchestrating the most calculated title theft in UFC history. He's using psychological warfare, perfect timing, and the elimination of weight cuts to create the most dangerous version of himself we've ever seen. And Tom Aspinall, he's stuck in the middle of it all, trying to recover from injury while the most feared striker in the sport publicly plans his downfall. This isn't just about who hits harder or who's more technical. This is about who can handle the mental pressure of a legacy-defining moment. So here's my question for you, drop it in the comments. Do you think Aspinall's technical skills can overcome Pereira's psychological warfare and unburdened power? Or are we about to witness the most devastating title change in heavyweight history? If this breakdown opened your eyes to what's really happening behind the scenes, smash that like button, subscribe for more inside analysis, and hit the notification bell because this heavyweight invasion is just getting started. I'll see you in the next one.
And all over the place, pa 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 pa. But you know, he's very light on his feet, you know, and he's very French, and he's got the flair, and he's got the ballet, and he's got the pa 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 pa. He's got the punch you in the face. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I've lost the plot. I've been sitting here by myself in this room, losing my goddamn mind, because Alex Pereira is gonna fight for a third belt. The only person to ever do it. That will mean he is by far the most successful person to ever step foot in the UFC's hallowed octagon. What do you think? Am I crazy? Am I talking out of my arse? How do you feel about Tom? And if you're watching this, Tom, just ignore all the shit online, because those people could never dream of what you have done and achieving the levels of greatness that you have. They could never dream about it, so they talk shit online. Just ignore.
But hold on, because I've been diving deep into the fight footage, and there's something absolutely terrifying that nobody's talking about. I went back and analyzed every single one of Pereira's knockouts, and there's a pattern that's going to give Aspinall nightmares. Alex doesn't just knock people out, he breaks their will first. Look at the Jamahal Hill fight. Hill was confident, talking trash, ready for war, but Pereira spent the entire first round making him second-guess every movement. Every time Hill threw a combination, Alex was there with that laser-precise counter. By the time that left hook landed, Hill was already mentally defeated. Now imagine that same psychological breakdown happening to a heavyweight who's already questioning his place in the sport.
In the meantime, if Tom is on the sidelines for a while, which it looks like it is, in the meantime, there's an opportunity for Alex Pereira. Would it be Cyril Gane? It would have to be Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane was fighting for the belt against Tom. Yes, he poked him in the eye. Yes, he was the person that committed the foul. And yes, he might be the guy that gets rewarded with another major title fight, right? But that's the world we live in, right? It's not a fair world sometimes, okay? And some people might think that's crazy. But as I said before, the show still goes on. What do you think about everything that I just said? Do you think Alex Pereira will be fighting for a third belt? Or am I 1, 2, 3 times out of my goddamn mind? Thanks for watching. Subscribe, ring the bell. The dog's barking.
Here's what's really scary about this whole situation, and this is going to blow your mind. Pereira knockout percentage actually increases as the rounds progress. Most knockout artists lose power as they get tired, but Alex gets more dangerous. Why? Because he's reading his opponents, learning their patterns, waiting for that perfect moment when their guard drops just slightly. At heavyweight, where guys get tired faster because of the extra weight they're carrying around, this becomes a death sentence. Aspinall might survive the first round, might even win it with his technical boxing. But what happens in round 3 when he's breathing heavy and Pereira is still calculating, still patient, still hunting for that one perfect shot? And here's something that's going to change your entire perspective on this matchup. I talked to some guys who train with heavyweights, and they told me something fascinating about how power translates between weight classes. It's not just about hitting harder, it's about impact absorption. When you're cutting weight, your body becomes more brittle, more susceptible to damage. But when you're at your natural weight, fully hydrated, your chin becomes granite. Pereira has been knocked down before at light heavyweight, but that was with his body compromised by weight cuts. At heavyweight, with no dehydration, no weakened bone structure, his durability could be completely different. Pereira's might land his best shots and watch them bounce off like nothing happened. But wait, there's another layer to this that's absolutely diabolical. The UFC heavyweight division has been stagnant for years, with the same recycled matchups and predictable outcomes. Pereira moving up doesn't just threaten Aspinall, it threatens the entire established order. John Jones, Francis Ngannou's legacy, Stipe Miosic's records, everything gets called into question when a two-division champion enters the picture. The pressure on Aspinall isn't just about defending his title anymore. He's become the gatekeeper for the entire heavyweight hierarchy. If he loses to Pereira, it doesn't just change the champion. It changes the entire conversation about what heavyweight greatness looks like. That's not just pressure, that's the weight of an entire division's legacy on his shoulders. Now check this out, because this detail is going to haunt Aspinall's dreams. Pereira's team has been studying heavyweight footage for months, way before this announcement went public. They've been analyzing movement patterns, studying how heavyweights create angles, understanding the rhythm of heavyweight fights. But here's the kicker, they've been specifically studying Aspinall's tape. Every defensive habit, every offensive sequence, every moment where Tom drops his hands or shifts his weight incorrectly. By the time this fight happens, Pereira will know Aspinall's game better than Aspinall knows it himself. Meanwhile, Tom has zero heavyweight footage of Alex to study. He's preparing for a ghost, a theoretical version of a fighter he's never seen at this weight class. Here's where it gets absolutely insane though. The mental warfare isn't just happening between the fighters, it's happening in the media, on social platforms, in every interview. Every time Prochaska posts a training video, thousands of comments are tagging Adesanya, asking if he's worried, questioning if he can handle the pressure. Every breakdown video, every analyst prediction, every fan debate is adding to the psychological pressure cooker. Tom can't escape it even if he wanted to. His phone, his social media, his daily interactions, everything is reminding him that the most dangerous striker in the sport is coming for his head. That's not just mental pressure, that's psychological torture on a global scale. And here's something that's going to completely change how you see this fight. I've been looking at the training footage from both camps, and there's a massive difference in energy. Pereira's training sessions look like celebrations. He's laughing, he's loose, he's enjoying the process of preparing for heavyweight. But Aspinall's recent training footage, there's tension there. You can see it in his body language, in how he interacts with his coaches, in the forced smiles during interviews. One fighter is embracing the challenge, the other is carrying the weight of expectation. And in a sport where confidence is everything, that psychological edge might be more important than any technical advantage. But let me tell you something that's going to absolutely terrify every heavyweight in the division. Pereira's success isn't just about his left hook, it's about his ability to make elite fighters fight stupid. Look at what happened to Jamahal Hill, to Jiri Prochaska in their rematch, to Israel Adesanya. These are world-class fighters with elite fight IQs, but something about facing Pereira makes them abandon their game plans. They start rushing, they start taking unnecessary risks, they start fighting emotionally instead of tactically. Now imagine that same psychological effect on a heavyweight division that's already known for guys making critical mistakes under pressure. Aspinall might have the perfect game plan, but when those leather gloves start flying and that left hook starts hunting, will he stick to it? Here's the part that's really going to mess with your head though. This isn't just about one fight anymore. The UFC is already planning the promotional campaign around Pereira's heavyweight debut, and they're treating it like the biggest event in recent memory. Think about what that means for Aspinall. Every press conference, every face-off, every promotional event is going to be designed to build up Pereira as this unstoppable force moving up to conquer heavyweight. Tom isn't just fighting Alex, he's fighting the entire promotional machine that's invested in creating this historic three-division champion moment. The questions won't be about whether Aspinall can win, They'll be about whether he can survive. That's not just disrespectful, it's psychologically devastating. And get this, there's something happening in the betting markets that's absolutely wild. Even before any official announcement, the odds for a potential Pereira Aspinall fight are shifting dramatically. The smart money, the guys who bet millions on these fights, they're already backing Pereira. Why? Because they understand something casual fans don't. Weight cuts don't just affect power and durability. They affect fight IQ, reaction time, and decision-making under pressure. Every advantage that Aspinall thinks he has speed, technique, cardio, might disappear when he's facing a fully powered, undrained version of the most dangerous striker in the sport. The professional gamblers see this as a mismatch, and they're putting their money where their analysis leads them. Now here's what's really going to blow your mind about this whole situation. I've been talking to some former heavyweight champions, and they all say the same thing. The hardest part about defending the heavyweight title isn't the physical challenge, it's the mental isolation. You're carrying a target on your back that makes you a walking payday for every fighter in the division. But now Aspinall is facing something no heavyweight champion has ever dealt with, a proven two-division champion who's moving up specifically to take his belt. This isn't just another title defense. It's a legacy-defining moment against a fighter who's already proven he can conquer multiple divisions. The psychological pressure of that situation is something no amount of training can prepare you for. But wait, there's another element to this that's absolutely crucial and everyone's missing it. Pereira's move to heavyweight isn't just about fighting Aspinall, it's about proving that his striking system works at every weight class. He's already shown that his precise, patient, devastating approach can work against middleweights and light heavyweights. But heavyweights are different. They're bigger, stronger, more durable, and they hit harder. If Pereira can successfully implement his striking philosophy against the biggest, most dangerous fighters in the world, it cements his legacy as perhaps the greatest striker in MMA history. That's not just motivation, that's obsession. And when Alex Pereira becomes obsessed with proving a point, people get knocked unconscious in spectacular fashion. Here's the detail that's going to give you chills, though. The heavyweight division has a completely different rhythm than the lighter weight classes. Fights develop slower, but they end faster. One moment of carelessness and your entire reign is over. Pereira has built his entire career around capitalizing on single moments, single openings, single mistakes. At heavyweight, where the margin for error is even smaller, his patient, calculating style becomes exponentially more dangerous. Aspinall might dominate for 4.5 rounds, but if he makes one mistake, if he drops his guard for 1 second, if he gets caught coming in with his chin up, the fight's over. And Pereira has never needed more than one mistake to end a fight. So here's what I need you to understand about this entire situation. This isn't just a fight announcement. It's a declaration of war on the entire heavyweight division. Pereira isn't just moving up to test himself. He's moving up to prove that weight classes are just suggestions when you have the perfect combination of technique, power, and fight IQ. Aspinall represents the technical evolution of the heavyweight division. But Pereira represents something more dangerous, the perfect predator moving into new hunting grounds. The psychological warfare has already begun, the physical preparation is underway, and the entire MMA world is about to witness something we've never seen before. A two-division champion attempting to conquer the most dangerous division in the sport while his target recovers from injury, knowing exactly what's coming for him. This is going to be the most mentally taxing fight preparation in heavyweight history, and we haven't even got to the actual fighting yet. What do you think happens when these two finally step into the octagon? Can Aspinall's technical skills overcome months of psychological pressure and the most dangerous version of Pereira we've ever seen? Or are we about to witness the most spectacular heavyweight title change in UFC history? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button if you want more deep dive analysis like this. And make sure you've got notifications turned on because this heavyweight invasion story is just getting started. And I'll be breaking down every single development as it happens.